Sending thousands of dollars of your hard-earned money overseas to someone you've probably never even met before can be scary. But luckily, there are steps you can take to protect yourself. And in this video, I'll go over the different options that are available, what to watch out for, and the best practices. And make sure you stick around until the end. I'll show you how you can download a contract template that I use with my suppliers to make sure that all of your bases are covered. But first, my name is Crescent, and on my channel I share tips and strategy videos, just like this one, on how you can create a successful Amazon FBA private label business. So if you enjoy videos like this, consider subscribing. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so when you're working with a supplier, other than negotiating the final amount of the invoice, you can also negotiate the payment terms, meaning how much you need to pay upfront to get the manufacturing process started, and when to pay the remaining balance. Standard practice is typically 30% upfront and the remainder when the manufacturing is complete, but it can vary from supplier to supplier. Some may want you to pay 50% upfront, and don't be surprised if they want you to pay 100% upfront. Every supplier would love if you paid 100% upfront, but that's not smart on your behalf, as it leaves you with no leverage if anything goes wrong, such as with quality or delays. So always negotiate. So you have a few options for paying your supplier. Some are better and safer than others. Most suppliers would prefer that you paid them with a bank wire transfer, otherwise known as TT, which stands for telegraphic transfer, since it's the safest option for them, as there's less risk for fraud or chargebacks, and there's less fees. And for that reason, they'll tend to avoid using paying by credit card or PayPal. Again, if you negotiate or insist on using a different payment method, they'll usually agree. So, which option is best? For your initial deposit, I don't recommend paying with a wire transfer. This option offers absolutely no protection for you. Once the money leaves your account, it's gone. What I recommend is paying with PayPal, but use a credit card as the payment method on your PayPal account. This way, if you have any issues, you can file a claim with PayPal, and if they happen to deny your claim, you have a backup option of filing a claim with your credit card company. Keep in mind though, that you can also use PayPal when ordering samples. This is the safest method to protect yourself, however, the fees can be high. With foreign transactions, PayPal charges 3.9%, which the supplier will usually always request that you pay. You can always try to negotiate with them to split the fee, if not on the first transaction, perhaps on future orders. Now, you're most likely going to be sending US dollars, but if you're converting US to say RMB, you're also going to be paying foreign exchange fees, so keep that in mind. Now, one point I can't stress enough is do not use the friends and family option in an attempt to avoid paying the PayPal fees. If you use this option, PayPal does not offer any protection for you. I've seen many cases where people did this and got caught out trying to save a few bucks. It's simply not worth the risk. Another option is paying with Alibaba's Trade Assurance. Trade Assurance is Alibaba's own escrow service where both parties are protected in case anything goes wrong with the transaction. With Trade Assurance, you can send the funds by credit card, wire transfer, as well as these other options here. Of course, there's also fees that you can see here, and like with PayPal, your supplier will probably make you pay these fees. One thing I want to point out, if you do use Trade Assurance, make sure that you have all the details that you've negotiated with your supplier are documented in the Trade Assurance contract. This is so if there is a problem, Alibaba has a record of the terms that both parties agreed to. Now, this contract is through Alibaba's Trade Assurance online platform. I'll go over using your own custom purchase agreement contract later on in this video. A pro tip here is to use your credit card if you use Trade Assurance. Again, like with PayPal, if you do need to make a claim, and for whatever reason, if Alibaba denies your claim, you'll also have your credit card company on your side to protect your purchase. Alright, so once your manufacturing is complete, how do you pay the remaining balance? Well, here's where it gets slightly more involved. I don't suggest paying the balance until you've had a third-party inspection done. Again, this is to make sure your products are manufactured properly to your specifications and quality and to protect your investment. Inspections aren't expensive. It typically costs around $150 to $300 depending on what you want done. A small price to pay for peace of mind. What I don't suggest doing is have your product shipped to yourself to inspect. If anything is wrong, it'll be infinitely more difficult and expensive to have the problem fixed, especially if you need to ship the products back to China. If you want to learn more about inspections, I have a video that goes into detail on it here, and I'll leave a link to it in the video description below. Now, once your order does pass the inspection, you should be 100% confident in paying the balance on your invoice. This is when you can pay using a bank wire transfer to save on fees, since banks typically only charge around $20 to $40. Keep in mind though that if you are converting the currency, you will be paying a small penalty in the exchange rate, so it pays to shop around. For example, a payment service like Veem or TransferWise are popular payment services that have low fees and can offer better exchange rates compared to your bank. So you can often save hundreds or even thousands of dollars in fees, especially compared to using PayPal. All right, so now that you understand the process, it's important that you protect yourself with a professional purchase agreement contract with your supplier before making any payment. Now, I have a template that I use here that covers all of the necessary details that you'll need to include in the purchase agreement with your supplier. So as you can see, this template covers all of the necessary details that you need to include. So for production, you're going to want to put in all of the details there as far as the order quantity or the number of units that you're purchasing and any details or customization that you're doing. So make sure you include all of the details here. Don't leave anything out. And then the total cost is what you've agreed with your supplier. Make sure you enter that here. And if there's any delays, you're stipulating the penalties here, okay? And if there's any problems discovered with your products, this stipulates what needs to be done as far as fixing or replacing those products, okay? And this section covers the inspection. And so what I like to have is for my supplier to send me photos to update me on the process. So as you can see, I want detailed photos of the materials, detailed photos of the product during the manufacturing process, as well as the final photos of the product itself, and then photos of the labels that are going to go on there, and then photos of the shipment itself. Okay? Now, a pro tip here is negotiate with your supplier and stipulate on your contract that you'll pay the remaining balance once the manufacturing is complete and the order passes the inspection. However, should it fail the inspection, your supplier needs to fix the problem and is responsible for paying for any subsequent inspections. Now, this section covers the shipping, so where it's going to get delivered to, what's being delivered, the shipping costs here, and how many days it's going to take to deliver it, as well as the labeling that's going on the master cartons. And make sure you customize this to suit your needs. And then what I like to do to save on time is have my supplier ship a production unit directly to my photographer. So this covers that here. And this covers the payment agreement, so 30% upfront for the deposit to start manufacturing, and then the remaining 70% when it's ready to ship. All right? And then this covers the confidentiality agreement, that they're not going to share anything with the agreement or the product itself with anybody else. And down here is where both parties sign this contract, okay? So anything with the square brackets you want to fill in, and then anything that's italicized in the parentheses is for your reference only, so make sure you delete these out of the contract before you submit it. Now, I'll leave a link to this contract template in the video description below for you to download for free. All right, I hope you found this helpful and you have some insight now on what the best practices are so you're more comfortable sending your money overseas. If you'd like to learn more about how to negotiate with your supplier to get better prices, take a look at these videos here. Thanks for watching. If you found value in this video, you know what to do. Hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And make sure you click that bell icon to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. There's also a link in the description below to our community forums, which you should totally join. And as always, thanks for watching.